All right. I look forward to this. It's our segment with our friend Tone. He joins us now here on the National Football Show. Tone, appreciate you coming aboard, my friend.
As always, sir, it's always a good time.
How are you feeling now?
Day by day. Reality is, nothing is given when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles team as of December 14th on a Thursday at 2:30 Central Time. I'm not locking them into anything except for the training room and the film room. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm going into the Seattle game with the utmost confidence. Do I think they're going to win the game? Yeah. But at the same time, am I completely sold on their performance as of late, which gives me confidence? No, but I think they should win the game. They should. But will they? It all remains to be seen at this point. I'm on a week-to-week basis with this Philadelphia Eagles team for the reasons we've all laid out for the past several days. Defense is lackluster. As a matter of fact, defense is putrid. Defense is terrible. Offense has no identity. They have a hard time sustaining drives. They have a hard time deciding what kind of team they want to be. They have a hard time maximizing the skill set of their quarterback. It's just, how can I sit here unequivocally and just say without a shadow of a doubt, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are still Super Bowl contenders? How can I do that?
Is this a long-lasting issue or a short-term issue with the Eagles?
If I had to choose between the two and give you a straightforward answer, I would have to say long-lasting, because the problems, again, they aren't. See, injuries are temporary. You can heal from an injury, right? But you can't really heal from someone's beliefs and how they look at the game of football. People are who they are, right? Nick Sirianni is who he is. Brian Johnson is who he is. Howie Roseman is who he is. Sean Desai is who he is. And they have, and their fingerprints are all over this Philadelphia Eagles team, right? The only person that I have any confidence in is Jalen Hurts. Like I said, I think he has to be phenomenal. And, he's in a situation where his coaches are really going to have to take a look in the mirror and find out who they want to be and what their approach is going to be. I don't have too much trust in the coaching staff as it stands today. Therefore, to me, their issues are longer lasting because they stem from things that they can control, but they won't change.
I want to throw this at you here then. Then why do you think that there's going to be some sort of epiphany on Monday when, Tone, I think the problem that people have right now is this is who you are. You're nobody else. You're not going to get better. You're not going to get anything better. Jalen, like I said, and you and I are both on the same page with this, he's the only guy that can right the thing and put the thing back on the rails because it is Seattle. But when I hear people saying this, well, the offense for Seattle, they're mediocre all across the board. They're 20th. Okay, well, you're 22nd. Where do you think you have the advantage when you're playing against DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? Where's your advantage against a shitty? If you're going to say Seattle is a less than impressive offense, or where do you come off? And I'm not saying you. Where do people come off thinking that you have an advantage there?
Fans being fans, man.
Okay.
And
right.
For me, to answer your initial question, I have to remain hopeful, right? I have to remain hopeful because I support this team with everything I have.
Hope is fleeting, my friend, like love.
You see, you see the hope is fleeting now. It's fleeting in real time. So, again, I have to believe that Jalen Hurts is going to put his foot down in such a way that makes them that shows them, listen, the way we've been doing things cannot continue. We're too talented on this side of the ball. We're too dynamic on this side of the ball. The way we've been doing things is not sustainable. We had to throw some curveballs in here. We had to get back to the basics and lean on what we do well and maximize that to the best of its ability. So, when I look at this team, it's like, okay, the Seattle Seahawks, do they have their fair share of deficiencies? Sure, right? But am I confident enough in the Philadelphia Eagles defense to be able to stop the Seattle Seahawks offense? No, I'm not, because here's what it comes down. Here's what it comes down to, right? No matter who you are, no matter what talent you have on the side of the ball, no matter who your coach is, this is what it comes down to. Can you get off the field on third down? Can you hold teams to at least field goals? Right? Can you get to the quarterback right on third down? So far, the Philadelphia Eagles have not. Can you defend the pass? Can you defend the pass? Right? Did you know the Philadelphia Eagles are the worst team in terms of first downs by way of the pass? The Eagles
Yes,
are giving
I
up.
do.
The Eagles are giving up the most first downs via the pass.
Can I tell you? And that's hurt the run game.
And that's hurt the run game. It's hurt everything.
That's hurt the run defense.
Yeah, run defense. Excuse me. People put a lot of. I understand the Eagles aren't putting up the most sacks on third down. I understand that. But here's my retort to that. It's kind of hard to keep that motor running hot when you're the only damn mechanism in the machine that's working overtime. You know what I mean? You want them to stop the run. You also want them to be dominant in the pass rush. And then also you want them to essentially do the jobs of the linebackers. Football is a complementary sport. The D-line helps the linebackers helps the D-line helps the DBs help the linebackers, so on and so. It all supposed to work in concert. But what happens when the linebackers aren't helping anybody? What happens when the DBs aren't helping anybody? You're essentially playing defense with two arms tied behind your back, and you got one leg hopping. So again, people can be hard on this defensive line. I'm not going to be hard on this defensive line. You want to know why? Because they're the reason that they even have any kind of life, if there is life
and hope.
So I'm not going to be the one to kill the defensive line. I refuse to be the one to kill the defensive line. We're going to kill these linebackers. We're going to kill
Reddick
the DBs.
is on pace for 16.5 sacks.
Right. It's so funny. We were just praising his defensive line all year. Now, when they get to a point in the season where, okay, other guys, the part of the team that we expected to actually kind of get a little bit better, they still suck. As a matter of fact, they probably got worse. But the D line, we're killing them because they're not getting sacks on third down. How about these dudes cover? Because here's the thing: the game plan for all these teams are, okay, we know the Eagles have a pass rush. What we're going to do is we're going to game plan to get the ball out of your hands in 2.5 seconds or less. Quick passes. We know they can't cover, so someone's going to be open. So how can someone sack a quarterback the moment the ball snapped? The moment they get any kind of pressure, the ball's gone.
And get this, Tone. On the other side, the offensive coordinators, you're so predictable. You know what they're going to do because they don't change in anything that they do. If you're a coordinator going into that, they're not going off script. They're just not going to go off script.
They have no trend busters.
Nothing.
They have no blitz on the offensive side. They have no blitz beaters.
No disguises.
They have no trend busters. Right. And to me, that tells me how much they are leaning too far into analytics. Because to me, instinct is where you implement trend busters, right? Okay, we've been doing this for several weeks. Teams, first of all, you're supposed to have a feel for that too.
You got to run that by Coach Hallaby, though. Man.
You're supposed you're supposed to feel when someone is getting close to figuring you out, right? You ever you played the D line, right? And I'm pretty sure you had your 2 or 3 moves that was your go-tos. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But every now and again, and then you get about maybe game 4, game 5, game 6, maybe game 7. You come across a matchup where, okay, he's catching on to this move. Okay, he's catching on to move number 2. Okay, he's kind of catching move number 3. I need to dig deep into my Rolodex and come up with a 4th move. The Eagles have been asleep at the wheel and coming up with the 4th move. You follow me?
I got 2.
So again, the Eagles have 2 gears, 2 moves.
So basically, what you're saying is they're playing with a half a deck of cards in a poker game.
Hey, listen, man. You said it. You said it loud and clear.
No aces in the deck. That's what they're playing with.
No jokers, no wild cards.
Nothing.
You
go into a game and you're at a disadvantage.
The offense hasn't evolved since 2021. They're expecting. This is what's so irritating about this offense at times, right? You ask them about the offensive identity and the approach, and you know what they say? Oh, we expect our guys to win their matchups. the game isn't that simple. Where whereas
It's
though,
not.
okay, my guy is better than that guy, so he should just naturally win the matchup 100% of the time. No, because teams are going to adjust. What you have to do, in my opinion, and look, I'm not a coach. I never played the game on that level. I don't know anything about football,
But
Dan.
it's not that hard to
But
see.
it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Teams catch on. Teams catch on to your moves and your trends. What you have to do, find a unique way or a different way. It doesn't have to be ultra creative, just a little different, a slight pivot. Find a new way
Dude,
to get your guy open.
a slight technique change changes the whole
slight wrinkle,
dynamic.
which tells me these coaches, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face, they have been riding the coattails of this talent. They have.
Yes.
Nick Sirianni, they have been riding the coattails of this talent. So now we're going to find out exactly who Nick Sirianni is on Monday night. We're going to find out who is the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles when you've been figured out. What's your counterpunch? What's your fourth move? We're going to find out.
You think this is a seminal moment for not only the coach but the quarterback?
See, the funny thing is, Hurts has had a lot of seminal moments. So it's almost like, is this anything new for him?
But now he's in adversity, Tone. Now it's he has not had a lot of adversity in his time in Philly. This, sometimes your gauge. I say this all the time about a guy like Mariano Rivera. There were so many massive victories that you remember the losses more, like to the Diamondbacks and what have you, because it's so set a bar for himself. These are the kind of moments you talk about, like that Dak is fighting 9 years into his career, winning those big giant games, turning your ship around.
Right.
Because, like I said yesterday to you, Kyle Shanahan, 3-game losing streak, quarterback debacle at the beginning of the year, they've righted the ship. The coach has to right this ship. And now Jalen probably has more equity than Nick.
Yeah, and you said something interesting, right? Big games and big matchups, right? And how do you respond? Sometimes it can be a big game, but it's not even a big game because of who you're playing. It's a big game because of what you've been experiencing the past few games.
Correct.
And I think that's what this is. The Seahawks mean nothing to the Philadelphia Eagles. They mean nothing to me. But because of where they're placed on our schedule, because of what the Philadelphia Eagles have been going through these past several weeks,
it's just as important as the Niners and Cowboy game.
They're just as important as that Cowboys-Niners game because of where they're placed on the schedule, because of what's been going on the past several weeks. And again, this has been a buildup, but you finally came across a bigger bully on the block that exposed your flaws to the world on a national stage. So I think that I want the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I think they should win this game. Am I completely sold that they will? No.
How about this, Tone? Do you think the issues with the Eagles are internal or external?
When I think of internal, right, I think of things you can control. When I think of external, I think of things you can't control.
Okay.
So I would say they're internal because
that's really shitty.
In my opinion, that's actually worse than dealing with injuries.
That's right. That's shitty because it's self-inflicted wounds.
I said it to you earlier. What makes the Philadelphia Eagles issue so scary to me, what makes their issue so scary is the fact that everything that they're going through could have been prevented with more competence at everyone's role, could have been handled if we didn't miscalculate certain things as far as a player's value or what we think they can be, or not penny pinching. It's just certain things that they're experiencing. I can't sit here and say, damn, things just happen. Like Bradbury, right? Bradbury, damn, it just happened. I can't listen, it is what it is, right?
I would have signed him. I would have
signed him too. So I'm not even killing the Eagles for signing Bradbury back. That's not even a bad move.
Nope.
But what I will kill you for is propping up Nakobe Dean like he's your future when he hasn't shown you a damn thing. What I will kill you for is not evolving your offense since the year 2021. What I will kill you for is not addressing the depth of your cornerback position properly. I was
And
talking to Rob earlier. Right? They draft, and look, we have ultimately Nolan Smith. I have to give him an incomplete because I don't know what he is, but I know what Joey Porter is, and Joey Porter was drafted 2 picks later than Nolan Smith. Now,
but what do you have? What do you have in Pittsburgh? You have Mike Tomlin.
That's true too. That's true too.
I mean, Mike Tomlin is a protege of Dungy. If you get drafted defensively in Pittsburgh,
you're going to have a solid career.
With the issues in Pittsburgh, I mean, look, you may have issues offensively in Pittsburgh, but you don't have any issues defensively because that's his side of the ball. And by the way, Big Ben, shut the fuck up. You're taking a shot at Mike Tomlin because you missed the game, because you and him didn't have that great a relationship in the end. Mike Tomlin is the reason they're winning. Okay?
Exactly.
This guy, Baby Roethlisberger, is such a pussy. I can't believe it. I hate that guy.
Oh,
okay? I mean, you taking a shot at Mike Tomlin is obnoxious. But you see, he misses the game.
A lot. He misses the game a lot.
You know what? Do you know what Mike Tomlin and the Steelers did? That was a mistake.
They held on to him too long.
They held on to him too long.
They should have got rid of him sooner. I've been saying that for a while, but he's Big Ben.
Okay, I want to go here. Sorry, Aunt Betty. I apologize there. Let me go here. I want you to help me here on this one.
Let's do it.
You think Jalen Hurts is regressing as a passer? Here, let me expand. So Dak Prescott targeted 8 wide receivers this past Sunday.
Right.
Jalen targeted 3. Now again, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, I kind of get it. But Quez Watkins, Julio Jones, Zacchaeus had 52 snaps and 0 targets.
Yeah.
The 2 backup tight ends had 0 targets. Gainwell and Swift had 0 targets. I mean, if I'm a coordinator, Tone, I mean, I really don't have to really go out and into my, coordinating bag too much to see what they're doing when it comes to getting the ball to those guys on Sunday.
No, I completely understand.
Now, is it the coaches that aren't? Because we said this the other day.
I do think they're
getting better, but look at this. You're basically, and you target. What was Goddard's targets? 4?
Yeah, right. So something like that. Yeah. But to your point, right? Do I think he's regressing? I think.
The coaches can regress him.
It's right. It's such a loaded question because when I look at his completion percentage, when I look even though he's turning the ball over a little bit more, right? Even though he's turning the ball over actually a lot more, I look at the completion percentage, I look at the attempts, and I'm saying to myself, okay, he's still just as accurate as last year, even though he's throwing the ball more. Last year he completed 66.5% of his passes. Currently, this year he's completing 66.5% of his passes. So he's just as accurate with more attempts. So I don't think his accuracy has diminished. I think his instinct and timing has taken a step back. I don't think he's trusting what he's saying out there. So I think I brought this up to you before. Jalen Hurts this year, what we keep hearing is that they're throwing newer defenses at him, or defenses he hasn't seen before. Let's put it that way. Not new, but something he hasn't seen. What they're saying is he's seeing defenses that he hasn't necessarily seen before, right? And it's kind of forcing him to hesitate. But when you look at the play-by-play, or when you look at the all 22, you're seeing throws that are there to be made, and he's looking in a direction, but he won't pull the trigger. Now, why is that? I need to know why that is. Why the hesitancy? Why the apprehension in what you're seeing?
Well, when you have apprehension, that means you haven't had a lot of reps, or you haven't seen it, or you haven't done it.
Right.
I mean, look, when you're apprehensive on something, especially something that has to have that kind of intel and processing and that quick of processing when you're back there for 3 or 4 seconds. That's why it's getting closer to 5 seconds now, is because he's not processing what he's seeing. Now, is that his drop? Does he get back into it? Here, remember something. I'll tell you what Bill Walsh told me about developing of Montana. One of the greatest things, and I said, man, Montana, he just throws to great. He goes, so you look at his arm. And I go, yeah. He goes, never look at a quarterback's arm.
Look at his feet.
Look at his feet. How fast does he get back to his 7th step? Because once he gets back to his 7th step, the quicker you get back instead of floating back, that used to be Vinny Testaverde's problem. He would float back to a 7, and by the time he got back there, he didn't have enough time to process the intel that he would see. And early in his career, he would just float back there because he's a 6'5" guy. Montana would get back there as quick as possible, saw the field, had time to deal, had time. Brady, too, worked on their feet so much. A quarterback is in his feet, not in his arm. That's why you say sometimes with Tua, it's throwing the spots. Well, it's also processing the information. I don't know if they're technically helping him a lot. So when he gets back there, because he's so used to being an RPO guy, I don't really think he's great at drops. And I think he kind of has to sit back there, and he has to look and he has to process, and that's why it's only a 2-man target.
If you notice, at the top of his drop back, he's a little hoppy.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
I watched this. I forget.
Is that first year Brady coaching him?
I forget what his name is. It's this guy on YouTube. I think it's called the Quarterback School. He does an amazing job of breaking down quarterbacks.
Whitmore?
I forget his name, but I would have to.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I really want to give this guy credit though, because he breaks down Jalen Hurts film regularly. He doesn't just break down Jalen Hurts, but he breaks down all the quarterbacks. What he's doing is like Jalen Hurts just looks a bit hoppy in his drop back.
Yep.
And
that's funny. I didn't even you notice it.
Yeah.
He kind of drifts.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing the time, because he's not processing the information. And what you said, he's not trusting the game plan. That's why it's taking 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I just think Jalen Hurts.
JT O'Sullivan.
I think that is his name. I think that is his name, JT O'Sullivan. I think so. But nonetheless, though, yeah. Oh, yep, it's JT. Yep, exactly. Thank you, guys. JT O'Sullivan. I appreciate it. He's apprehensive, and that tells me the coaches aren't doing a good enough job in coaching him out of that, or coaching in general. This is why this will go back. This goes back to my point about they're just relying on these guys' talent to bail them out all the time. That's what I strongly believe. I don't believe that, like, Jalen Hurts made his biggest jump under Shane Steichen. He leaves, he takes a step back. So so that tells you who was more responsible for his growth. That tells you that's clear. It's very, very clear. Don't overthink it, you guys. Brian Johnson was there in 2021. Nick was there in 2021. Shane was there in 2021. In 2022, all 3 of them were there again. Jalen Hurts makes the big jump. In 2023, one person leaves. You still have 2 brains there. 1 brain leaves. Jalen Hurts takes a step back. Who was more responsible for his growth?
Isn't it funny, Tone? You take just a few personnel pieces away, slight personnel pieces, and then you take the play caller away, and you have 90% of your offense back, and you have the same playbook.
Also, I think,
and you're watching your quarterback here. Look at this. When I look
also think Jalen trusted Shane more. When people want to talk about this relationship.
Oh, wait a minute! I thought they were boys from back in the Tonka truck days.
Hey, listen, man. That's a cool story for the off season, but when the season starts, I don't give a damn about that.
That's what I said.
I don't give a damn about that when the season starts.
What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't have anything to do with anything. I think he trusted Shane more. I think he trusted Shane's reasoning behind the play calling more. You know what I mean? You played this game before. Nothing more annoying. You tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm off. Nothing more annoying than when a coach tells you to do something, but he can't tell you why you're doing it.
There's nothing worse knowing that when you know that a coach lines you up in a shitty position and you know you're not going to win at that position, and he puts you in that technique and he puts you in that play call, you know it's going to fail. And trust me, I can't tell you how many times being coached by Dave Wannstedt, when I got to the Bucks, this guy constantly put us in bad situations every series. Every series. Wannstedt, who went on to win Super Bowls, not just national championships, he won 3, okay, as a coordinator for the Cowboys, constantly put you in top positions to win. Tone, you know it before the play is called. It's going to fail.
You see,
okay?
The thing is,
that's why some of these guys are walking off the field shaking their head going.
That's all you see. Just shaking their head.
I'll tell you this. Pro guys pick up on it quicker than college guys. I'm just saying to you, when you, hey, remember what your boy Jason Kelsey said? I'm coming back for Hurts. You're not coming back for that offense. I guarantee you, he didn't come back for that offensive game plan.
No, he saw the right
back for Hurts.
Right. He saw what Jalen Hurts could be. And here's the thing, right? Jalen Hurts is nowhere near dead, right? Like his you know, like this is one of those situations. And I'm not saying you're saying that.
He's the only thing keeping him afloat.
Right. So I trust Jalen Hurts to always stay in the lab and work on his game. That's one thing I do trust by Jalen Hurts. He's always going to stay in the lab. But
I wish someone was helping him stay in the lab with him. That's usually what coaching is too.
Right. So here's the thing, right? The bottom line is this: regardless of how people want to feel about what we're saying, we all watch the games and we see something is off. Something is off.
Throw something. This is one of my conspiracy things here.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay.
Buckle up.
I just think ever since they gave him that money, they treat him differently on and off the field. And they probably teach him, watch this, and they probably treat him coaching-wise differently. It's just different. It's just, to me.
You think they talk to him a little differently?
I think they talk to him differently, and I think they expect more from him without coaching him.
Money doesn't change a man.
What's that?
Money doesn't change you.
No, it just changes people around you.
Yeah, it changes the people around you.
Remember that. How people perceive you, it changes the people around you. It doesn't change you. It changes the people around you, how they see you. So to me, we gave him the money, so it's up to him to do it. When that's not the case, Belichick was up Brady's ass for 20 years.
Exactly.
You know what, to me? How about this one? Tone, do you think the Eagles coach Jalen Hurts hard?
Not anymore.
Do you think Brady was coached hard in New England?
Yeah. If you're in New England, you're getting coached hard by everybody. Yeah, definitely.
You think Andy Reid
it's in the fabric of what they are.
You think Andy Reid in his subtle ways coaches Patrick Mahomes hard? It doesn't have to be swearing at him or hollering at him.
Yo, listen to this, right? I'm so glad you brought that up. Last year, before the contract was signed, when Jalen Hurts made certain turnovers that were clearly idiotic, what did Nick do? He was right at him. Yo, what's going on? This year, we haven't seen Nick get at Jalen Hurts one time.
Nothing.
Not one time. No one wants to talk about that. This is the first time. I think this is the first time this is being brought up. Jalen Hurts and Nick haven't had a heated conversation on the sideline not one time this year. Or let's put
it last year he threw a pick in some game and Nick went over.
It was the Washington game. I think it was the Washington game. He threw an interception and it was in the red zone. As soon as he walked back to that sideline, Nick was like, "Yo, what was that? Like you go here with the ball, not that, like he got with him."
Doesn't it show you something too about
Nick hasn't said a stern word to him all season because the cameras would catch it. You know what I mean? The cameras would catch it. But
because they caught AJ. How about this one though, Tone? So when Brady left New England, who did he go to? He went to Bruce Arians.
Mm-hmm.
Did he coach him hard? Shit, how many times did Bruce Arians put Brady on blast when they were 7-5 in that Super Bowl year? Quarterback's got to be better.
Yeah, but also
that's Tom Brady.
Right. And also, in contrast, Tom Brady also held Bruce accountable.
Oh, well, Bruce got 3 rings too.
Right. But I think what I'm saying is they both were firm with each other.
But you can
because
be hard on each other, but respect one another.
exactly.
Okay. So to me, I mean, I don't believe that kid is getting good coaching this year. What's his tone? Think about it. He's not getting good coaching. Or how about this? He's getting inexperienced coaching.
Mhm.
He's getting too many voices in the game plan with the analytics coaching staff and the regular coaching staff.
Right.
And the head coach, in my opinion, has to balance all three of that. That's why Nick is not really a head coach.
He's a
A
politician.
balancing act guy that's balancing all the departments to make it work.
You know those people on the carnival that spin the plates on the sticks?
Yeah,
That's him right now.
that's right. He's the guy in the circus spinning. You know, the only difference was when Phil Jackson did that. Phil had Bobby Cremens. He had a defensive-minded guy. He had Jerry Krause, who everyone hated. He had all these things, and he knew how to balance it. Get this. You know how great a coach Jackson was? He convinced Jordan not to be a scorer and a champion. Okay?
He refined him.
He made him understand. Okay? Hey, we need Jerry Krause. He's going to find Tony Kukoc. He's going to bring in Scottie Pippen. You're not going to like that. Who cares? It's about winning. And Nick has got to see, got to remember something too. Nick's a young coach. You know, we
Nick's
don't.
in his 40s. Yeah, he's young.
No. I'm talking about young as a head coach. This is 2.5 years. He's still.
Oh yeah. He's still green. Yeah.
So if the coach is still young, the quarterback's still young, the coordinators are young, the coaching staff is young. You know what, Tone? At the end of the day, maybe we're being just too critical. You know, I've never thought about this take. Are we being too critical of the Eagles?
I'll take it a step further.
So 2 years of what they've done, where they are as a team, and what they're accomplishing, as young as they are, and how young everyone is. I mean, this is not about this year. Isn't this about the Super Bowl window for the next 5 years on getting better? Because I think sometimes, Tone, we get into a position where we look so hard at the micro, 2 weeks, this and that.
It's difficult, but I get what you mean.
Process.
I'm glad you said all those things because now it forces us as Eagles fans to reevaluate or recalibrate how we're processing what we're seeing, right?
If he wins a Super Bowl in the next 5 years and has gone to 2, we're going to look back on this moment here and go, well, shit, it's the best era of Eagle football.
You bring up a good point, right? Are we overreacting to what we're seeing with the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
We're probably reacting right to the moment, but we're not looking at
the macro
of what it is.
Because at the end of the day, Hurts is going to be here for the next 6 or 7 years.
Absolutely.
So far. So if we're looking at this objectively in the macro, they're doing very well. If we're looking at this objectively in the micro, this thing can get off the rails fast. So, but here's the thing, though, right? You're right. You have a young head coach who's in year 3. You have a franchise quarterback who's in year 4 in the NFL, but year 3 as a starter. So do with that what you will. And you have a first-year coordinator, you have 2 first-year coordinators, so on and so forth, first-year quarterback coach. And
12 different coaches in first-year positions.
Right. So it's like, in the grand scheme of things, if we see this at 5 years from now, and we say, okay, 1 Super Bowl win, 2 appearances, maybe 3 NFC championship appearances like that, then you look back and say, okay, damn, like, they accomplished a lot. But right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm not liking Nick's direction with the offense.
Nick's direction or Howie's?
That's the $50 million question.
I think this is a question to ask.
Because look, again, no, regardless of what we're saying, if people, I always like to bring it back to this. regardless if people agree or disagree or think we're trolling, whatever it is, regardless if people agree or disagree with what we're saying, when you watch the games from week 1 up until now, something is off with the offense. People want to talk about stats. People want to talk about, the yards and the points per game. People want to talk about all those things, right? But when you talk about the actual product, something looks off. So therefore, what's the source? Where is the root cause of this disjointed nature of the offense?
They're learning to win.
And it could be that. Are we watching a team that won so fast so soon? Now they're learning how to sustain.
What was the one problem with 17? Sustainability.
Correct. And they didn't start off 10-3. They had to crawl back. They struggled.
Hey,
you know what I mean? So
this sustainability is just as tough as it is to remain on top.
Yeah. It's, in my opinion, it's easy to get to the mountaintop. It's harder to stay there. So this team being 10-3 right now, and we talked about this, I think about a week or so ago. What they're trying to accomplish is almost improbable. It's difficult to not only, become the number 1 seed in your conference 2 years in a row. It's difficult to make it back to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row and win the second time. It's hard, so
it doesn't happen.
And it doesn't happen. Yet, with them being 10-3, they have, and again, the defense is not a Super Bowl defense at all. At all. But can Jalen Hurts,
could be next year.
Could be next year. But could Jalen Hurts play above the wire? Can Jalen Hurts play above the rim to help carry this team to that point? I trust Jalen Hurts. I don't trust his defense. So that's where I'm at right now.
Expectations on Hurts are too high.
The expectations are very high.
You and everyone else, your expectations on the kid. Get this.
But I always check myself with that, right? I always check myself and I say, look, at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is a quarterback that came into the NFL with a ton of flaws. And we're kind of spoiled by his growth from year 1 as a starter to year 2 as a starter. So now we're expecting this growth. You talked about it in the offseason, right?
So get this. So he takes a step how about this? He takes a smaller step. I told you this.
No, I know where you're going. I know you're going with this.
He may take this much of a step.
Yes.
Okay. And what's going to happen is you're not going to see that exponential leap that you saw in year 2.
Because they don't happen.
And what's going to happen is you're going to go, how come he didn't grow as fast? Most don't.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. What we saw from year 1 as a starter to year 2 is almost unprecedented. You're not going to see that kind of growth every single year. You're not going to see that. You're going to, what you may see? You may see 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
The step back is the coaching staff, not him.
Bingo. And that's where I'm at with him.
How about this, man? Do you think there is a proper Mara, I'm stealing this from you. It was a great take. Do you think that the foundation for the Eagles is set for the next 5 years?
The foundation is set for the next 5 years?
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing his take.
Okay, when I think of foundation, I think of your premium positions, right? So, quarterback, check. Left tackle, check. Center is up in the air for me. Because Cam Jurgens, all we know of him is what we know, and he can't stay healthy. So that's that. So quarterback check, left tackle check. D-line, I'm willing to say check because of those 2 guys in the middle.
And Sweat.
Depending on if they bring him back when the contract ends.
The whole back end.
The back end.
You're going to replace the next 2 years, that entire linebacking and
DB room is going to be replaced.
Will be replaced.
Yeah. So from a foundational standpoint, your O-line and D-line is pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Oh no, I think it's above. I think it's really good.
Well, here's the thing, right? Do I expect Lane and Kelsey to be here 2 years from now? No.
Oh, okay. So, O-line. I'm sorry. Yes.
So you take away Kelsey, you take away Lane, that leaves
the entire right side's gone. A Hall of Famers too.
Your entire right side is pretty much compromised.
But I do have Stoutland.
But you do have Stoutland. So, and Jimmy Johnson said it best. An offensive line coach is the most valuable coach on the field.
Best in the business.
So O-line, D-line, check. I like Tracy Rocker a lot.
Me too.
So O-line, D-line, check.
I'm prejudiced to that, though.
And the quarterback position, check. So
You're
is there
missing one.
so is
You're
that
missing
your
now.
Say that again?
You're missing a little bit here. You have a proper foundation in coaching?
I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm not ready to go there.
Well, then you don't have a foundation. Tone, all of it has to work together to work.
I know that's why I was going down the checklist. And when I'm glad you brought up coaching, because that was the next thing. As of right now, today, my trust is waning with the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff. It's waning. Now, do I think Nick Sirianni can right the ship at some point in his career? He's young. Yeah, why not? Right? Go back to the drawing board. Because remember, you said it yourself. Maybe we're looking at this too much in the micro. Maybe we need to look in the macro. If you look at his career in the macro, he's been a productive head coach. Like when you say so, regardless of how you feel about his role,
I got it.
In the macro, you would say he's been a productive head coach in the macro. Yeah. But when you dig deep and peel the layers back, you say, okay, there's flaws in his game. So can Nick Sirianni improve as a head coach? Absolutely. Right? Does he strike me as somebody that's self-critical? Yeah, I think he is. So you know what? I think I am going to say maybe the foundation from a coaching perspective, at least a head coach, can be salvaged. So I think their foundation is pretty solid. It's pretty decent. It's pretty good.
Do you think that if this thing comes off the rails and they're a one and done this year, do you think Jeffrey Lurie steps in and says, you know, the one thing that we've missed the last 2 years is experience in our staff? And do they instead go back to the Schwartzes and the Reichs and because I could see Nick and Frank working together. They have.
I can see it.
They worked together for 15 years.
Yeah.
Frank knows coordinators too. And so remember something, you're going to be in the same room with people that you trust and know, because Frank's going to be a confidant also. And the organization loves Frank. Remember something, whatever you think about Frank as a head coach, okay, I'll agree or disagree. But as a coordinator, Frank won you a Super Bowl, dude, with a backup quarterback in a moment nobody thought in Philadelphia sports history, and gave you the greatest moment in your lifetime and many people's generations of lifetime. The greatest moment in your city's life.
Right. So,
okay. So I would say to you, would the owner step in and go, enough with these training wheel OCs and DCs?
Yeah, because I'm glad you said that, because all it takes is for Jeffrey Lurie to come from out the castle and say, listen, Howie, all this training wheels crap, I'm done with it. We did it for the past 3 years, made us a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is the commodity. Jalen Hurts is why we do what we do. So therefore, I put it this way, right? If in the playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to make it. But
absolutely.
if
it's just going to be a matter of where they are in it,
right? If they're one and done, and the offense still looks how it looks, I think Brian Johnson's one and done. I think he's out. I think he's one and done, and they bring in somebody familiar that has experience. And Sean the side is lacking on that side. Sean the side may have some saving grace because the defense is lacking personnel. That may be his saving grace, but not Brian Johnson. Too much talent for them to look this lackluster.
How about this on the side? Does it bug you that they didn't even hire a position coach, and he was a special advisor to the head coach in Seattle? He didn't even have a job really as a position coach in Seattle last year. He was a special advisor to the head coach. He wasn't a coordinator in Seattle. They hired a special advisor to Pete Carroll. He wasn't even a coordinator.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm looking at it like this. You got me, Sills?
Yeah, I got you, man. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm going through a little connection issues myself. So, nonetheless, though, to your question, hiring Sean Desai, did that make sense to me because of the lack of coaching experience? Because if you really go down his coaching record, Sean Desai, he was in 2021, then he went to Seattle in 2022 to fulfill whatever role that he was in, the associate head coach of the defense. So he took I don't know if that's a step back or a pivot, I don't know. But in Chicago, he started out as defensive quality control, and then he became the safeties coach, basically a DB coach. And then he became a D coordinator in 2021 with the Bears, then transitioned to Seattle to be an associate head coach of the defense. And then here he is in Philly. So he was a DC for 1 year. He has 1 year of DC experience.
And 1 year of position coach.
2 years of position coach.
2 years of position coach.
Yeah, and in Chicago, but that was only the safeties. So, and it's so funny. Reed Blankenship is actually the better DB out of all of them. He's having the best year, which is interesting. So, but nonetheless, though, here we talk. Did we talk about this yesterday? They allowed Denard Wilson to walk out the door when you had him in the building. You had the guy in the building, but you let him walk wild because he didn't want to play ball with how you wanted things to get done.
That's right.
So you bring in someone who, I don't want to say desperate, but someone who's just looking for an opportunity.
Can I tell you what Denard did? He failed the interview.
He failed the interview.
You know how you fail the interview? Having your own opinion.
Exactly.
When you come to Philadelphia to get an assistant coach's job, if you have all these grandiose ideas, that's not who they want.
What you do, if you want the job, tell them what they want to hear first. Sign the dotted line before you start getting creative. You know what I'm saying?
I'll interview for Howie.
Oh man.
Watch this. Hey, we really love to have you in here very much so. You come with great recommendations. And this is how I would interview. Hey, listen, you guys have had so much success over the last couple of years. The personnel that you've put on the field has been exceptional. Even when you guys are struggling sometimes, when it comes to some areas, when it comes to depth, you guys seemingly fit it in season. It's remarkable. All the players really advance. They increase their value when they come here. You guys play a great system, a great scheme. And in today's NFL, because you're not going to run into a lot of these great quarterbacks, I don't believe in giving up the big play. I believe in giving up the underplay and the shorter plays, because the shorter play is not going to beat you. The plus 25 is going to beat you. And to me, bringing pressure, I'm all about what the front four do. And in Philadelphia, what you guys have done, for me, looking 35,000 feet, that's one of the priorities that you guys have when it comes to retooling your defense, is that you make an emphasis on having your defensive line a priority. So to me, my job is to make sure I put the linebackers and everybody in the entire unit in a proper position to be able to win. And so with the personnel given from the great job that you do, Howie, and my job, I'm here to come in and work myself into what you guys do and change. I have to change my way of thinking sometimes, because I'm not going to change 22 players and I'm not going to change 12 players. I've got to come in and adapt to what you have. That's how you get the job, dude.
You're hired.
Right. See, when you come in this way, watch this. Yeah, we've had great success down in Baltimore, 49ers, Miami. We've been fifth in the league. We bring pressure. We believe in a ton of safety blitzes. We believe in press coverage, and we have to have press coverage corners. And already you're fired. You know why? They've invested in center fielders $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
You failed.
It's so funny though, because Denard he'd been in the building for the past couple of years and he still failed the interview.
You know what? You know why he got thrown out? He got thrown out of the building because he knew the system's wrong. And he knew that this was going to be the precursor to what he sees right now. One of the worst defenses in the league.
Them Ravens, man, he got those D-backs playing lights out. So, man, to your point, Sean Desai, I think the year at least, because offensively though, Brian Johnson, he may get the boot if his offense stays stagnant.
Well, I'm really glad that I put you in a good mood today here, Tone. Hey, my friend.
No, you're good. You're good. You're all good, man. You're all
Got you, my friend. I appreciate it, Tone. Thank you very much.
all
That
right.
is my good friend, Tone. Don't forget, you can catch him on with Sports Take and with Rob Monday through Friday. These guys do a great job, and I appreciate him coming aboard and doing the segment. Jason Cole's going to come around the corner here in a minute. Don't forget, December. Absolutely. This is Hooters and football. What better, right? Hooters Bucks are back here, man. The Santa bonus bucks, $5. Great stocking stuffers. Plus the calendars are out. $100 of coupons are inside of them. Hooters.com and HootersToGo.com. That's all you have to do is go to that website. You don't have to go into the place. Get the great food. I had some of it the other day. It was spectacular. Seafood Sundays. I love it. Lunch specials, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3, boneless wings. Do me a favor. Oh, by the way, kids eat for free on Saturdays. NortheastTutors.com. That's NortheastTutors.com. Jason Cole right around the corner. Keep it here in the National Football Show.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.